General Hospital spoilers reveal that Jason is still pretending to be the father of Sasha's baby, a role he initially took on reluctantly but has grown increasingly attached to over time. With each passing day, he finds himself more invested in both Sasha and the baby, forming a makeshift family he never thought he'd have after Sam's death. But the new storyline surrounding this adjustment is intensifying as Jason begins to realize that this role is no longer just a temporary duty. He started attending prenatal appointments with Sasha, preparing a nursery, and even reading books on fatherhood, things he had never taken so seriously before, not even with his own child. One of the emerging inner conflicts is whether Jason can truly build a life with Sasha and the baby. He started to wonder if he can love Sasha the way he once loved Sam. Or if this is merely a way to fill the void Sam left behind. Every time Sasha smiles at him, every time she touches his hand, Jason feels a warmth he hasn't known since losing Sam. But is it love? Or just the comfort of having someone close? This becomes even more complicated by Jason's undeniable attraction to Anna. Despite his commitment to Sasha and the baby, he can't ignore the spark that ignites every time he sees Anna during their secret meetings. There's a deep connection, a mutual understanding. They've been through too much, seen too much, and understand each other in ways few others can. Every time they meet, the tension grows, creating a dangerous environment where both know they're playing with fire. Jason is torn between his duty to Sasha and the baby, the haunting memory of Sam, and the undeniable pull he feels toward Anna. He started dreaming about Anna, dreams full of passion and danger that leave him waking with guilt. Every time he sees her at Charlie's, his heart races. And he has to remind himself of his promises to Sasha. But how long can he keep denying his growing feelings for Anna? How long can he live in a relationship built on lies when his heart is pulling him in another direction? As Jason navigates this emotional labyrinth, he must face an uncomfortable truth. Maybe he's never truly moved on from Sam's death. Perhaps everything he's done, from pretending to be the father of Sasha's baby to the secret encounters with Anna, has been an effort to fill the void Sam left behind. And in doing so, he risks hurting everyone around him, including himself. While life continues in Port Charles, Jason remains trapped in the past, unable to move forward. Unable to let go of the woman he loved so deeply. This obsession is becoming increasingly dangerous, as Jason starts making more reckless decisions at work, putting himself in unnecessary danger, as if daring fate. Sunny has started to notice this and worries that Jason's grief may lead him down a path of self-destruction. But how do you help a man who has lost the love of his life? How do you help him find meaning when everything seems to have lost its meaning? This new storyline about Jason's emotional control is causing him to carefully calculate every move he makes. Not only is he balancing his fake fatherhood with Sasha and his complicated feelings for Anna, but he's also trying to keep everything hidden so no one finds out about his overlapping relationships. Every day, he must think carefully about every action, every word, even every glance, to ensure that no one, especially Sasha, learns about the secret meetings with Anna. This control is becoming a burden. Jason, a man who's used to keeping secrets, is beginning to feel the weight of the web of lies he's woven. Every morning he wakes up. He has to remember exactly what he told whom, which promises he made, and what plans he's committed to. It's draining his energy and making him feel detached from his true self. The man Sam once loved, who prided himself on honesty and directness, is now becoming someone even he can't recognize. He's not only managing the deception with others but also suppressing his own emotions. He's bottled up the grief over Sam, hidden his growing attraction to Anna, and pretended to have deeper feelings for Sasha than he actually does. Every day, he puts on a different mask, depending on who he's with. With Sasha, he's the devoted father and trustworthy partner. With Anna, he's a wise ally and a potential lover. And to the rest of Port Charles, he's still Jason Morgan, the cold, controlled man who never reveals his true emotions. This evolution in his story has become one of emotional betrayal. As Jason and Anna continue to meet in secret, the lines between work and personal feelings become increasingly blurred. What began as meetings to discuss security threats and defensive strategies has turned into emotionally charged encounters, where they share their deepest fears, hopes, and losses. Their first meeting took place in the security room at the Port Charles docks, discussing a potential smuggling threat. But as the conversation extended into the night and they shared a bottle of rare whiskey, the topics turned personal. Anna spoke of her loneliness after Robert left. Her fear that she might never find someone who understands her complex life. Jason, usually guarded with his emotions, opened up about his grief over losing Sam, his guilt for not saving her, and his fear that he might never get past that loss. From that night on, they found excuses to meet more often. A new threat, an intel briefing, a tactical update, every reason seemed legitimate. Yet their meetings grew longer and more intimate. They began seeing each other in a room above Bobby's bar, away from prying eyes. And in that private, secure space, Anna and Jason started exploring deeper feelings for each other. Anna, who has long built walls around her heart after many failed relationships, began to let her guard down with Jason. She found in him a rare understanding of life in the shadows, the tough choices they've made, and the price those choices carry. And Jason, still mourning Sam, found solace in Anna's empathy. With her, he didn't have to pretend to be strong or in control. He could simply be a grieving man trying to find his way forward. What neither of them has admitted, to each other or to themselves, is that they're slowly falling in love. Not the passionate, intense love of youth, but a mature, understanding love forged through shared experience. They see in each other the acceptance and understanding they've both longed for after years of loss and failure. And in their hearts, a new sense of hope is forming, hope that perhaps, just maybe, they don't have to be alone in this world. This emotional betrayal is made even more complicated by Jason's role with Sasha and the baby. What started as a convenient arrangement has grown into something more. Jason has begun to genuinely care for Sasha and feels responsible for the unborn child. Sasha, after all her trauma and loss, has finally found a measure of happiness and stability with Jason and their future child. She started dreaming of a future together, a cozy home near the park, family picnics on Sundays, and the laughter of their child echoing through the halls. Every time Jason sees the joy and hope in Sasha's eyes when she talks about their future, he feels a sharp pang of guilt. Sasha, after everything she's endured, doesn't deserve a relationship built on lies. She deserves a man who fully loves her, not one whose heart is split between a departed love and a growing affection for someone else. But Jason can't deny what he feels for Anna, or the awakening that her presence brings after months of emotional numbness. Things get even more complicated when a son Jason had with Sam during their marriage returns, adding another layer to the already tangled situation. Danny, now a young man, returns to Port Charles after years away, only to find that his father seems to have moved on without his mother. Danny left Port Charles soon after Sam's death, unable to cope with the pain of staying in a place so full of memories. He traveled the world, searching for a place that felt like home without the shadow of loss. But in the end, his longing for family and connection drew him back. Danny's return forces Jason to confront not only his grief over Sam again but also the responsibility of explaining his choices since then. How does he tell Danny that, while he still loves his mother, he had to find a way to keep living? How does he explain his relationship with Sasha, the unborn child, and his growing feelings for Anna? Most importantly, how does he help Danny understand that moving on doesn't mean forgetting Sam or the love he had for her? Danny is shocked to learn that he has a half-brother his own age. Years ago, during a breakup between Jason and Sam, Jason had a brief relationship that resulted in a child he didn't know about until recently. That son, Jake, was raised by another family in a distant town, completely unaware of his true parentage. Jake grew up in a strict but kind adoptive family, where emotions were rarely expressed and questions were seldom asked. But as he grew older, he felt a growing emptiness, a sense that something was missing, that he didn't truly know who he was. This led him to begin searching for his biological parents. A journey that eventually brought him to Port Charles, and to Jason. Now, Jake has come to Port Charles seeking his father, only to discover he has a half-brother, Danny. Jake's arrival sets off a storm of emotions for everyone involved. Danny, still grieving for his mother, must now face the reality that not only does he have a brother he never knew, but that brother is a reminder of a time when his parents were apart. To Danny, Jake is not just a sibling, he's a symbol of the complicated relationship between his parents and a part of Jason's life he never knew. Jake, having grown up without knowing his biological father, now has to adjust to having not just a father but a brother, an extended family, and a complex family history. To Jake, Jason isn't just the father he never had, he's the key to a part of his identity that was missing for years. But Jake also has to face the fact that the father he imagined might be very different from the real Jason Morgan. And Jason, who's already struggling to balance his role with Sasha. His feelings for Anna, and the grief over Sam, now has to take responsibility for two sons, one he's known and one he's just discovered. He must find a way to reconcile Danny and Jake, explain his complicated past without hurting either of them, and try to become the father they both deserve. Jason also has to reckon with how the presence of both Danny and Jake will affect his relationship with Sasha and the baby. How can he integrate his grown sons into the new family he's trying to build? And how can he explain the complexities of his past to Sasha without shaking her trust in their future? The woman who gave birth to Jason's child is none other than Brenda. The story of Brenda's return, and Jason's unexpected child, is quickly becoming one of the most haunting developments yet. Brenda Barrett's sudden reappearance in Port Charles, accompanied by a grown son she claims is Jason's, has created an emotional earthquake for everyone involved. Brenda, with her timeless beauty and trademark confidence, walked into the Metro Court as if she had never left, turning heads and sparking countless questions. But nothing was more shocking than her introduction of Jake, the young man standing beside her, as the son of Jason Morgan, born after their final night together before she vanished from Port Charles years ago. This revelation is eating away at Jason from the inside, forcing him to confront a past he believed was long buried. His brief relationship with Brenda happened during a dark chapter in his life, when he and Sam were separated and he was trying to numb his pain. It was just one night, a night of weakness, loneliness, and the need for comfort. But that night has had consequences far beyond anything he could have imagined. Now, Jason finds himself questioning the validity of Brenda's claim. Is Jake really his son? Or is this another one of Brenda's games, a move to gain attention, or perhaps a way to get back at Sonny for repeatedly turning her away? Jason has demanded a DNA test, and Brenda suspiciously agreed without hesitation. But even as he waits for the results, Jason can't help but see pieces of himself in Jake, in the boy's blue eyes. The way his brow furrows in concentration, and the quiet determination he shows even under pressure. This storyline is truly exploding as word of Jason's secret child spreads like wildfire through Port Charles. Sonny, whose relationship with Brenda has always been tangled and intense, reacts with suspicion and anger. He can't believe Brenda kept something this significant a secret for so long, and even less that she chose to reveal it so publicly and dramatically. Carly, ever protective of Jason, has openly questioned Brenda's motives and the credibility of her claim. And Sasha, currently pregnant with Jason's child, begins to feel the foundation of their new relationship start to crack. For Danny, Jake's arrival isn't just a shock, it's a double betrayal. Not only does he now have a half-brother he never knew about, but that brother is the son of Brenda Barrett, the woman his mother, Sam, considered a lifelong enemy. How can Danny reconcile his love for his father with loyalty to his mother's memory? How can he accept Jake as a brother when his very existence feels like a betrayal of everything his family once stood for? This marks a major shift in the power dynamics of Port Charles. With Brenda's return and Jake's sudden appearance, old alliances are breaking down, and new ones are forming. Sonny and Carly, who typically stand united behind Jason during any crisis, now find themselves being pulled in different directions by their complicated histories with Brenda. Alexis, as both a lawyer and friend to Jason and Brenda, is trying to mediate and protect Jake's interests, a young man she believes deserves to know the truth about his origins, no matter how much drama it might cause. But Brenda hasn't just brought Jake with her, she's carrying another secret, one that could change everything. During her years away, Brenda formed a covert relationship with someone in the criminal underworld, a person who now poses a threat not just to Jason, but to all of Port Charles. Could her return be tied to this threat? Is she using Jake and her claim about Jason to protect herself? And if so, will Jason once again be pulled into the darkness he's tried so hard to escape? As Jason confronts these overwhelming challenges, he's also facing his own complex emotions. Jake's appearance has stirred memories and feelings he thought he'd buried long ago, about Brenda, about his younger self, and about the man he used to be before becoming stone cold. With Anna, Jason seeks understanding and support. She's the only person in his life right now who doesn't have a complicated history with Brenda, doesn't have a stake in the situation, and can offer the objective perspective he desperately needs. But in turning to Anna for comfort, is Jason pushing Sasha, who is carrying his child, further away? Could this crisis become the catalyst for a deeper relationship with Anna? Or will it prove that Jason still isn't ready for new love after Sam? As the situation continues to unfold, one thing is clear, Brenda's return and Jake's arrival have changed Port Charles forever. Secrets have been revealed, alliances tested, and relationships pushed to their breaking point. And at the center of it all is Jason, a man struggling to keep his footing in a world that seems to shift beneath him every day. Can he find a balance between his past and present? Can he accept Jake as his son while maintaining his bond with Danny? And can he find happiness and peace in a life that only seems to grow more complicated with each passing day? As Port Charles watches the drama unfold, one question remains. Is love, be it between father and son, brothers, or romantic partners, strong enough to survive these trials? Or will secrets and lies ultimately bring them all down, leaving wounds too deep to ever heal? Sonny is also reeling from the bombshell that Brenda was once his wife. The complex relationship between Sonny and Brenda has long been a pivotal part of Port Charles' history, but the truth about their secret marriage, buried for years, has come as a massive shock. The dark past shared by Jason and Brenda is coming to light, setting off yet another explosive storyline. When Brenda reveals that she and Sonny were secretly married during a spontaneous trip to Las Vegas years ago, just before she left town, everything changes. The marriage occurred during a moment of vulnerability, when both were emotionally fragile and seeking comfort in each other. They quickly realized it was a mistake and agreed to keep it quiet, intending to divorce quietly. However, before they could finalize the divorce, Brenda disappeared, carrying the secret of their marriage and a child she believed belonged to Jason. This revelation triggers a cascade of consequences. Sonny, who has always seen Brenda as the one that got away, must now confront the fact that she was legally his wife. This stirs up a storm of emotions, regret over what might have been, anger at having been kept in the dark, and fear of how this news could affect his current relationship with Carly. Carly, always wary of Brenda, now sees her as more of a threat than ever. She's not only dealing with the possibility that Brenda has a child with Jason, Sonny's best friend, but also the reality that Brenda was once Sonny's wife. All of Carly's insecurities and jealousy, long held at bay, are reignited. For Jason, the news creates a deep internal conflict. He's always prided himself on his loyalty to Sonny. And the idea that he may have fathered a child with Sonny's former wife, regardless of the circumstances, makes him feel like a traitor. It plunges him into a moral crisis, forcing him to re-examine the choices he made in the past. As everyone in Port Charles scrambles to adjust to the new reality, old grudges resurface, alliances are tested, and shocking secrets are unearthed. Brenda's return has brought not only Jake and a secret marriage but a tangled web of relationships and history built during her years away. The dark past between Jason and Brenda goes beyond that one night. It seems the two shared other secret encounters over the years, meetings hidden not only from Sonny and Sam but from the entire world. These encounters may be tied to a dangerous underground organization both Jason and Brenda were connected to, an entity that now threatens not only Port Charles but also the criminal empire Sonny has built. As the truth continues to unravel, a wave of shock spreads through the Port Charles community. People begin to question everything they thought they knew about Jason and Brenda. Are there more secrets waiting to be revealed? Is Jake truly Jason's son, or is there an even more shocking truth yet to come? The fallout from these revelations has created a tense and unstable atmosphere in Port Charles. Everyone is walking on thin ice, unsure of when the next secret will emerge and change everything once again. For Jason, this means confronting not just the consequences of his past, but finding a way to protect the people he loves from the dangers his history could bring. As the story continues to unfold, one thing is certain: no one involved will ever be the same again. Secrets have been exposed. Lies have been shattered. And relationships have been tested under intense pressure. At the center of it all stand Jason, Brenda, and Sunny, three individuals bound by a deeply complicated past, now forced to face the consequences of their actions and find a way forward in a world where nothing is as it once seemed.